Hello everybody, I welcome you all in this new edition of news coverage and analysis from the Hindu newspaper dated 1st March 2019. So what all are we going to cover is detailed here in this page. You can pause the video and note down if you wish. So let's go to the first news, and it says Supreme Court stays eviction of tribals and forest dwellers. Similar news was there on page 10. I have taken the crux from there. The important point here is that Supreme Court acknowledged the need to delve into whether the due process had been followed by the Gram Sabhas and the state authorities under the FRA before the claim for the forest right of the forest dwelling scheduled tribes and other traditional forest dwellers were finally rejected. So basically Supreme Court accepted this point that okay, there might be a situation where these forest dwellers or other traditional forest dwellers were not aware about the rules and the regulations and the procedure that they were supposed to follow. Further, it also acknowledged that maybe Gram Sabhas were not aware about the technicalities of the rules. So maybe they didn't follow the process. So due process maybe was ignored or was not religiously followed. But then Supreme Court said that encroaching forest land is a serious problem. What government says that, but the forest and the tribal are to coexist. So right now there is a stay. Now the next news, pollution scare. Cause of concern, the color of water at Sankumugam beach at Thiruvananthapuram is turning yellow, allegedly due to discharge of effluent from nearby factories. So just couple of months back we had coastal regulation zone. I don't know whether this particular is covered there or not, or whether coastal regulation zone is strictly implemented or is being implemented since 2011. I mean, this is amended 2011. Coastal regulation zone is amended in 2018. So this kind of serious this prima facie looks a serious breach of coastal regulation zone. Now we go to page 7. Cabinet clears voluntary use of Aadhaar as identity proof. Quite an interesting one. The Union Cabinet, chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday, approved the promulgation of ordinance to allow voluntary submission of Aadhaar as identity proof for use by private entities such as banks, telcos and fintech firms. So now if you are going to get an account opened in a bank or going for a SIM or any financial firms, so they cannot ask you to mandatorily submit your Aadhaar card. It is up to you to whether you want to submit or not. The other important point here is that the ordinance also gives a child an option to exit from Aadhaar on attaining 18 years of age. Now you are very much aware that those kids who are less than 5 years of age are also covered under Aadhaar, and their Aadhaar is made based on their parents, and after 5 years of age their biometric signature is taken. But now those kids can decide about opting out of Aadhaar once they attain the age of 18 years. Quite an interesting one. The amendment proposed are same as those contained in the bill passed by Lok Sabha on January 4, 2019, the government said. However, the bill was not passed in the Rajya Sabha, which was adjourned sine die. What is sine die? You should know. This amendment also provides for civil penalties for violation of the Aadhaar Act and provisions by entities in the Aadhaar ecosystem. It permits the entities to perform authentication only when they are compliant with standard of privacy and security specified by the authority, that is UIDAI. So not everybody is entitled to perform authentication using Aadhaar gateway. Now the next news is at page 8. I am not going into all those editorials there, especially those discussing India-Pakistan relationship, because we must remember that we are focusing only on civil services examination, that is prelims and mains. We should be focusing only on those news or the article which have got substantial material related to either prelims or mains examination. I have taken this particular article and especially these two para because these two para are giving a complete shift or you can say the paradigm shift in the approach of India towards Pakistan. Let's try to see what is written here. I'm not going to analyze the article. I've just taken two important para which can be important for you once you are framing your own thought before your civil services mains examination. So what it says, from the more conceptual point of view, by carrying out the strike against Pakistan in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, India wanted to create a new military normal between the two sides. That is the counter-terror airstrike inside Pakistan. And this is going to be new military normal and would now be a regular feature, something one could argue straight out of the American and Israeli counter-terror playbook. So you can expect this kind of counter-terror airstrike more normal between India and Pakistan. So till date, India has done it. Maybe tomorrow Pakistan will start doing it, and we don't know what would be the repercussion. Maybe somewhere shelling in Punjab or in Haryana, or maybe deep inside Rajasthan. What further complicates the matter is India's use of the phrase non-military preemptive strike. This is also new normal. While the term non-military was meant to signal to Pakistan that the attack was against the terror camp and not against its military, because you got to understand here, non-military, by saying the word non-military, India is trying to give an impression at the world order that it is not against Pakistan. So it has not touched or bypassed the sovereign boundary of Pakistan. Rather, it was important for India to attack on those terror camps, and that's why it was forced to cross the boundary. So, but still it is not denying the sovereignty of Pakistan. Furthermore, the preemptive part would be unacceptable to Pakistan side. A successful and unresponded to Indian preemptive strike, once again from American playbook, would have meant that India could now keep the option of a strike anywhere inside Pakistan. Because of this preemptive non-military strike word, this phrase, to take out the terror camps which it believes poses a threat to India. Recall that in 2016 surgical strike was projected as retaliatory strike. That was not non-military preemptive strike. Then the preemptive one, unlike the attack on Balakot. So you should remember this, that this is going to be new normal. And then India, since India has used non-military preemptive strike, India has now opened this scope of getting inside each other's boundary and attacking in the name of non-military uses. Now we move to the next article. As page 10, Jammu Kashmir Ordinance cleared by Union Cabinet does not tinker with Article 35A or 370. So what is this article? Union Cabinet on Thursday approved Jammu Kashmir Reservation Amendment Ordinance. This is Ordinance 2019 that will pave the way to extend reservation in jobs, promotions and education to people living 10 kilometers from the international border. Right now this particular thing is available to people living 10 kilometers from LOC, line of control. Earlier the benefit were only reserved to people living 10 kilometers beyond the line of control and affected by shelling firing from across the border. So what is the repercussion of this international border? People living in Jammu would also be benefited from this. So people living along the international border in Jammu live under the similar condition as those along the LOC. They also face continuous shelling and firing from across the border. While the population along LOC was getting reservation benefits, those along the international border were not. Though this ordinance, the anomaly has been corrected, it is nothing to do with the altering Article 35A and 370. So basically, in a way, government is trying to bring Jammu and Kashmir on a similar footing and has extended all those special provision that is given to people living in Kashmir to people living in Jammu. It's a nice strategic move. Now we move to the next article at page 13. Cabinet OK's National Mineral Policy. Quite an important article. We'll have to see when it is cleared by the parliament how it shapes up. The Union Cabinet on Thursday approved the National Mineral Policy 2019. The policy is aimed at bringing about more effective regulation to the sector as well as more sustainable approach while addressing the issues of those affected by the mining. The aim of National Mineral Policy 2019 is to have a more effective, meaningful and implementable policy that brings in further transparency, better regulation and enforcement, balanced social and economic growth as well as sustainable mining practices. Lot many words here, not yet we have come across any substantial point. Let's see what's written ahead. Some of the features in the policy include introduction of right of first refusal for the reconnaissance permit. What is reconnaissance permit? This is basically preliminary survey or research. So say if government is saying that there is oil along the border of India and Nepal. So this is a new concept, reconnaissance permit. Usually reconnaissance permit is issued. So now the policy has introduced introduction of a right of first refusal and prospecting license holder, encouraging the private sector to take up exploration and auctioning of virgin areas on a revenue sharing basis. This part is important that you should remember. Let's first see how the policy comes up and gets a perfect shape, but then you should remember this. Now there is another news related to Air India. In a separate decision, the Union Cabinet gave its ex post facto approval for, this is something is already ex post facto approval means something which is already done but approval is given later on. For the creation of a special purpose vehicle SPV for the disinvestment of Air India and its subsidiary and joint venture. The SPV named as Air India Asset Holding Limited has been created for the purpose of warehousing the accumulated working capital loan not backed by any asset along with 4 subsidiaries, that is Air India Air Transport Services Limited, Airlines Allied Services Limited, Air India Engineering Services Limited and Hotel Corporation of India Limited according to the statement issued by the government. This part you should remember. Now the next important news here is Union Cabinet approves software product policy. Lot many data is here. Everything is important from your pre as well as mains point of view. The Union Cabinet on Thursday approved the national policy on software product that aims to help the industry grow at CAGR, compounded annual growth rate of 40% to reach $70 to $80 billion by 2025 while creating employment opportunity for 3.5 million people. Very important point. In a statement, the government said that initially an outlay of 1500 crore rupee is being planned for various schemes under this policy in the next 7 years. Further, the policy proposed to create 5000 crore rupee fund with industry participation to promote emerging technologies such as Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, blockchain, big data and robotics. These independent points, these terminologies, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, blockchain, big data and robotics, these are coming time and again. You all should be knowing, reading about it because questions may be asked related to this. These are all futuristic concepts and these are the in thing in software industry and lot many changes are happening. This all are called the disruptive technology. In case your questions are asked, what are the disruptive technology in industry, please explain. Then you should be referring these things like Internet of Things or artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain, big data, robotics. These are all called disruptive technology. Now further, promoting ecosystem. Software Product Development Fund, this is important, will participate in venture fund having objectives aligned to this policy and so can leverage private investment targeted to promote software product ecosystem. The SPDF will, this Software Product Development Fund will be financially managed by the professionals financial institution. This is also important point. Presently, total revenue of IT and IT enabled services industry in India is pegged at about $168 billion. including e-commerce, which with revenue of about $7.1 billion from software product industry, of which $2.3 billion is from export. All these data are important for your pre as well as mains point of view. Now, tenfold rise is what is envisaged. The policy, which aims to increase share of the Indian software product in global market by tenfold, pitches for nurturing of 10,000 technology startup in software product industry, including 1,000 startup in tier 2 and tier 3 towns. It also proposes upskilling of 10 lakh IT professional as well as specialized 10,000 professional to provide leadership. This everything is important for your mains. Now the next news is development scheme for knitwear sector launched. This is also important for your mains. Couple of points are important for your prelims, like what is the scheme. Union Minister for Textile Smriti Zubin Irani launched a comprehensive program on Thursday for the development of knitting and knitwear sector in the country under the Power Text India scheme. This is important for your prelims. This you should not get confused by power sector. Power Text India scheme is for knitting and knitwear. The program, the outlay for which is 47.72 crore rupee would be in operation till the end of March next year. The total outlay in Power Text India scheme and knitwear scheme is 487.07 crore. Of this, 439.35 crore is for the powerloom unit for 3 years from April 1st 2017 to March 31st 2020, and 47.72 crore for knitwear scheme according to the statement from the textile ministry. Almost 170 crore rupee were disbursed to the powerloom sector till January 31st 2019. Of the knitted fabric product, 15% are exported. This is important for prelims as well as mains. Knitting is a major segment in the textile value chain, constituting 27% of the total fabric produced in the country. The program for knitting and knitwear unit catering to domestic and export market has 8 components where the industry would get support to install machinery under the group work shed scheme, buy yarn, go for solar energy, have common facilities and create new service center under the public-private partnership mode. This is important for your mains. Since the scheme is for knitting and knitwear unit, stitching machinery can also be installed under the group work shed scheme. Now we move to the last article. Rhinos without border is conservation credo. This is important for environment, for your mains. Very important. Some of the points or the national park that is mentioned here is important for your prelims. Asian wildlife protection expert placed emphasis on expanding the species domain to boost population. The New Delhi Declaration adopted at the second meeting of Asian Rhino Range countries that ended on Thursday underscored the trans-boundary collaboration among India, Nepal and Bhutan for the conservation and protection of greater one-horn rhino. There are no rhino in Bhutan, but some of the Manas National Park, remember this, in adjoining Assam and Baksa Tiger Reserve in West Bengal, again remember, are known to cross over occasionally. Emphasis has also been laid on expanding the rhino domain within a country or between rhino range countries. Indonesia and Malaysia are the other Asian country where last rhino live. This is also important. The current global population of the Indian one-horn rhino is 3,584. Assam's Kaziranga National Park has the bulk of 2,938 rhino in India, while Nepal has 646. Sumatran rhino, the smallest of all rhino species, important again for your pre and mains, and only Asian rhino with 2 horns, important, becomes extinct in the wild in Malaysia. There is only one found now in Sabah Island of Malaysia, while Indonesia has few. This is very important point. The plan said the single population of rhino in Sukla Phanta, that is in Nepal, Valmiki Tiger Reserve in India and Chitwan National Park in Nepal and Dudhwa in India is separated by political boundary between two countries. Or you should remember all these names. This might be asked in your prelims as well as mains. So this is all we had for today. Thank you very much.